Welcome back to the OPL. We are heading into Legacy versus Chiefs, and what better way to prepare for that game than with someone who has been preparing for that game all week, all year, for many years. It's Carbon.
What? How's it going? I'm here.
How long have you been preparing for
the Chiefs?
OPL Classico?
I don't know, better part of 5 years now, I reckon.
2014 winter was the first and only win, right? And from that point, it's always been about preparing to beat them again.
In terms of like grand final win, yes, that's true. But we beat them plenty of times during the regular season over those years.
Does that frustrate you? Before we get into the actual matchup, I always love talking to Carbon about this, and I kind of know the answer. But does it really piss you off that for all of 2017, you guys were like top of the ladder? Like 2016, top of the ladder. And then people have just completely rewritten history that you were never as good as the Chiefs. Does that really get you going?
No, not really, not anymore.
Damn.
It's just one of those things, you know.
You've taken a broad
history is written by
philosophical
the victor, and it is what it is. Like, I know what I did, and I know how good I was, and that's enough for me.
Well, a reminder of what you did. We do have a short video to play to celebrate this matchup. Let's take a look before we take a look at the game coming up.
There are two top teams that are reigning supreme right now through the league.
A brand new split, a brand new roster.
This team right now is on an absolute bloody tear.
Legacy's Tapoon just goes massive as he slams the ground.
Legacy continues to stay undefeated with a very clean win.
Tien is putting on a masterclass, and this is why Akali gets banned. They convincingly take down Direwolves as the Chiefs go 6-0.
Have an epic battle going on this afternoon between the Chiefs and Team Legacy.
All right, we're seeing a grudge match. It's an El Clasico.
Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs.
I find it admirable that despite 2 years of losing to us, you haven't retired yet.
The Chiefs, a 3-1 victory.
It's Ray's doing what he does, the Team Fight King. We're talking about Claire and the Chiefs acing.
It's just the all-out aggression of the Chiefs that teams cannot deal with.
Legacy smack them around.
Memories.
That's it. That's it. New and old. Exciting time. Can't wait for tonight.
More exciting, Luna Park or Brisbane?
Luna Park. In terms of the show, like like ignoring the game itself, Luna Park was like having, you know, sort of like a national icon transformed into the thing I love. Was really, really cool, you know, being able to buy food that was named after, you know, Brahms Burgers, or whether it was just cosplayers walking down the street, or they had the giant Timo face over the Luna Park thing. Like, seeing that was amazing. And then the atmosphere of the final was amazing as well. League was still very new then. Esports was still very new then, and just it was just exciting. People were excited about it just to be there.
Would you, hypothetically, if you didn't have to have Claire subbing in support, do you think you would have won that final?
Whether I would have won, I don't know. Hard to say. Would it have been more competitive? I would say so. Much more competitive. You know, regret 9. The player who was playing for us, supposed to play for us at the time, was a big part of our team back then. Yeah, do I think? No, I don't know. You can't say that, but I think it would have been a lot closer than it was, and it was 3-1, so at least 3-2, let's say.
And what has the transition been like going from a player within this to someone who is managing and shepherding the team in this sort of rivalry? Has it become less personal or more personal?
Well, it's
more personal. Come on, man. I play against them now as well.
It's like it's not personal necessarily. It's more about cultivating the rivalry, which has been the most interesting part for me, because really the rivalry was me and you know, one or two other guys and Chiefs, which was, you know, a couple guys as well, and you know, both teams had players come in and out, but it was sort of the cause that had the rivalry. It was
the Swiffer Spooks and Carbon, Minky, Choo-Choo's Carb.
Yeah, exactly. So not playing anymore and having new players in, it's like, yes, there's this El Clasico that's still going on 6 years later, but for a player like Tapoon, playing against, playing against Croc. It's like, what does that really mean? But it presents a unique opportunity to sort of take the players through. Yeah, well, this is what it means.
I love the fact that it's kind of like you've taken on a sort of father figure within the team, and it's like, Daddy needs this. I'm living through you now.
Yeah, I mean, it still counts. It still feels just as good, to be honest. Like watching the boys dominate on stage is super exciting to watch, and yes, okay, it's not you specifically, but you still feel like you have had a part in them doing that. So it's a really rewarding experience.
And you've had some dangerous lineups, like since the rivalry, right? You guys had the Lost Cupcake lineup.
Yep.
And then you had the Mimic lineup. Lots of lineups that I've struggled to deal with that involve Papraz and Prater, and I couldn't get past them. So, but what is it about what's different about this year's the 6-0 lineup that has got off to such a flying start? What do you attribute a lot of that success to?
Well,
is it the elephant in the room? Is it the region got weaker and you guys maintained some of your strength, or is there something there, do you think?
I mean, it's a boring answer, a little bit of everything, I guess.
Yep.
I think the overall skill level, I think losing 10-ish players and staff plus overseas is always going to hurt, especially at the start of the year before new talent has had the opportunity to sort of develop. They've been thrown in the deep end, but some of those guys will come out as strong players in the future. So it's a little bit of that. Also, obviously, M&S has just been performing incredibly the last 3 weeks. Almost solo carry performance almost every game. So that's been a huge part of it as well. But I think, I don't know, the guys, they all work really hard. Coaching staff as well. Since having Jensen in Australia, I mean, he was working remotely, which is always a bit, you know what I mean?
It's not the same.
Yep.
Nah, it's not. But since having him here, he's changed a lot of the things that guys do, both in and out of game. And I think that's also had a really positive impact. So I don't know, man. It's a little bit structurally. I think we're doing some things right. I think in terms of the playing group, the roster individually, they're all really good players. And then, obviously a lot of talent has disappeared, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Is there also pressure now? Because last year, the pressure...
No pressure.
...was there.
Probably needed a little.
There. Now you've not only got the pressure of, the fact that you've got this rivalry coming up, but also the pressure that you guys are really good favourites to take out the whole thing. And it's kind of gone 0 to hero.
Yep.
How are you handling that? Or is it just something you don't think about and you just think about the next game?
I mean, me personally, I'm doing nothing about it. Good. I just get to revel in their
reflected glory.
Yeah. So yeah, we are great. I get to sit on the couch here, talk about how amazing I am, when really I just sit in the room upstairs every week and watch them play.
But they don't have a microphone right now.
That's true.
You do.
That's true. So
really
the power is mine.
On the flip side, have you been surprised by how the Chiefs have come out 6-0? Because I think a lot of people kind of said this team was going to get off to a rough start. Like, they have a lot of that emerging talent you're talking about. Thien, Katsuri, Korea CK.
Yeah.
All of them had been around, but never really played to this level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the big question mark in the off-season was, well, A, who was going to play jungle for them? Because I think the announcement came very, very late. We didn't actually know.
Yep.
And then B, okay, how good was this guy going to be? Because when you talk about lanes like that, mechanics max, hyper aggressive, really trying to push the button. What you need, what every team needs, I guess, but what a team like that really needs is a really strong jungle presence and a strong support presence as well. Korea CK, no, he's never played, I think, professionally before, but I know personally he's a really good solo queue player, so it didn't surprise me to see him doing really well.
Born in-house, he was tearing them up.
Yeah, he was. But the big one for me is Croc. I think he's had a terrific performance, a terrific 2020 so far, and he's really pulling those guys together.
All right, well, it is time to get into this game. Carbon, if you could talk us through your lineup, introduce the boys, if you can.
If I can, let's see if I remember them. The Chiefs, no, Legacy. Jahoon Topoon Kim, Leo Babip Roma, Minsu M&S Jang, Quinn Rays Cora Brits, and Jonah Isles Rosario. The coach listed there is Jensen Go, not his real name, but His other name is much more difficult to pronounce.
Did he pick this one or
he picked
it
that
was
one.
assigned to him?
No, I don't think. I think that's like a stage name that he's picked.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's a
I think
strong
so.
name.
Easy to say.
Also got a good assistant coach behind him in Denian, someone that I've been very vocal about. Denian's, I think, done a really good job of fostering talent within the OPL region. And
Okay.
he also did a sleep
Yeah,
bit
he
of sleep
did a
exercise.
presentation on
How
health
did
and
that work?
well-being.
Because I hear you have a couple of slugs on the team.
We definitely do have
You've got
a few
magic,
slugs.
so you have a slug.
have some super slugs. And it sort of got to the point earlier in the year where Denian came to me and he said, Tim, I don't want to wake these players up anymore. It's too much for me. Like, it's too much babysitting. I really don't want to do it. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, I'll do it then because someone has to do it. But Leo swears on his life that I've never woken him up. I can guarantee you I've gone into his bedroom on at least 4 or 5 occasions to make sure he gets to scrims on time. But his defense is he's actually awake, just in bed.
Right.
Oh,
He's awake, just in bed.
My
But
eyes
it's
are closed.
literally,
I'm just
it's like
resting.
3 to 5 minutes max until scrims start.
Yeah.
Okay? Scrims start at 11. It's 10:57. I'm knocking on his door. Leo, you have to get up. We're scrimming. What are you doing? This is unacceptable. He's like, no, I'm not asleep. I'm awake.
Yeah.
Like, well, you're of no use to me up here.
You know what you need to start?
What's that?
Daddy needs this!
Stop moving the pots and
All right, I
pans.
know this goes against every instinct you have, but please introduce the Chiefs.
Does it? Oh,
Yeah.
It used to. We'll go through the Chiefs anyway. It's Tate in the top lane, Croc in the jungle, Claire in mid, former Legacy player there as well, Katsuri, your ADC, and Korea CK is the support. And the reason you say it goes against my instinct is because I did used to be with Legacy way back when, but that was way back when.
That
at this
really
point,
was way
wasn't it,
back
Tim?
when.
But you always remember, and something that we want to remember is this game tonight. It is Chiefs versus Legacy. It is El Clasico, and we'll be back after this break.
Well, this is it. This is the match you at home have been waiting for. If you've just tuned in, what a great time to tune in. Both teams are 6-0. It is the OPL Clasico. It is both the teams that have showcased so much dominance, so many questions around on social media, within the Rift, outside of it. Which team is better? Those questions today, Rusty, will be answered.
And this isn't just game of the day. This is potentially the game of the split before we get into the playoffs as well. So for you viewing at home, get excited for this one. Undefeated teams clashing in a very big way. We've got Claire against his former team. We've got the OPL Clasico, and if it goes by any other name, it's wrong. Make sure that everyone's here to watch this one.
I think the question for me is, where does the focus go? We've seen Katsuri get a very big focus on making sure they can get an AD carry he's comfortable on. He's only played Aphelios and the Misfortune. The bans haven't come out in that regard just yet. And then the flip side of that is we've seen how dominant M&S can be. We've seen questions around, well, do teams look to try and ban away his comforts like the LeBlanc?
Yeah.
Or do they just try and play in other lanes and try and find the focus there?
It's a good question, and I think the answer to that is Legacy's on red side, so you can't really, especially not in your first three, ban that away. Right now, I would say that you have to respect the fact that they could give him the counter pick in its entirety, and if he chooses LeBlanc, that's fine, because you can pick matchups into that. If you give him the outright counter by picking something that can be countered, that's when you run into the spot of bother. As Legacy, they have insta-locked in the Rumble. The reason that that is interesting is because technically a flex in 3 roles right now. It has been seen in top lane, it's often seen in mid lane, and we've also seen it in support. So as far as first picks go, or first rotations of champions go, not bad.
Chiefs have never played Ornn so far. This would be an interesting pickup if they were to go for it, kind of serving towards those juicy late game team fights where people are down for 40 seconds when the stakes are that much higher, when the differences really are those small margins of those 1 to 2k gold difference items.
Yeah, definitely. The Chiefs have picked themselves up a nice scaling pick here. And so far, with the 2 champions, of course, just a lot of scaling in general. When we see the 3rd pick, usually the support would be the place to look at. But, as mentioned before, because Rumble's ability to flex, they're not going to risk that one just yet. Rise, another flex pick for them. So that is curious to me. You know, Chiefs are one of those unique teams that can flex carries between both roles pretty convincingly, and Ornn also can go to mid lane. So no idea where they're going just yet. As Legacy, they've just locked in the Ashe.
They've locked that in without any questions asked. They then responded with a fresh ban, making sure that nobody can dodge and juke what comes out of that red carpet, as well as the Cataclysm from Jarvan. So they want to make sure if they layer down the damage, you are locked in place for good.
Yeah, I want to say this is like in part becoming an LCK style draft. If they go for like a Zoe as the mid laner for M&S, then that's very much just LCK and very patient alt layering style poke composition, or pick rather composition is where they're situating themselves to be. Now I mentioned that M&S can't have LeBlanc ban in the first 3. You definitely can in the second 2, as they've chosen to take that away from him. And Legacy getting rid of Korea's champions. Korea CK, not the country's champions. The support.
There's a bit of a tongue twister that one to try and bring. Let's see now, where do Legacy take this one? Going to stick with the Aatrox. Tapun quite happy with that one, his most played champion this split so far.
Which right now does presumably put the Rumble into the mid lane until we see that flex to support. Either way, Legacy have got that last pick, have got that counter pick. Hook champions taken away, things that can get onto the Ashe taken away, but that's not all of them. If they really wanted to, they could go for the Leona. They could go for the Blitzcrank that Korea CK has pulled out. If Engage is the focus, they've got it in spades, still well and truly available. And I wouldn't say it's a bad choice. Something to stand in front of the Aphelios is definitely worthwhile. The alternative is like the Morganas against Ashe, which, you know, is never a horrible choice.
The Chiefs have the split lane pressure with the Ryze and Ornn. They've locked in Nidalee, the first one we've seen of that, which is very interesting in my mind. They do finally decide to lock in there with the Braum. Now 20 seconds deciding what is the reveal here. What do Legacy have up their hands, or up their sleeves, I should really clarify. What is the wild card to try and bring to this and say, this is how we win?
They've picked Braum, so Rumble can be a support now. It's that plain and simple. So they can just choose where they want the Rumble to go and pick the other area. And I mean, Chiefs have kind of given them the option of putting in support, which is fine. They've picked the composition for themselves that they deemed the most important. They've gone for the Braum to make sure that the Ornn still has good engage, first and foremost. It's not a raw denial from Legacy, but it is nice to take it away from them. So again, Legacy, from their first pick of the draft, pick the Rumble, they take the Gambit, and now M&S gets the choice of playing Sylas into the matchup of his choice here in the Ryze. They may even swap lanes at level 1 to try and get Sylas into Ornn. Pretty free matchup, and we find ourselves in a situation where the Ashe Rumble bot lane into Aphelios Braum, very heated 2v2 down there.
Should be seeing a fair bit of action. These are the best AD carries, quite arguably, in the OPL right now. Both Katsuri and Raze shining in their own respective rights. Fantastic in terms of their farming, their kill pressure, their KDA, the amount of kills they can achieve in a single game. This is the match to watch. If you've just tuned in, it's the Chiefs taking on Legacy for the final game of day 1 in week number 4. We've coined it the OPL Classico because the situation could not be higher. Both teams sitting at 6-0.
The winner of this game is outright first in the OPL, which is why the stakes are so high here, as we found ourselves with some very interesting drafts across the board.
Jensen on standby. Coming into this one, what have the boys got prepared here on the Legacy roster? We're seeing some interesting flexes. We've got the Rumble in the bot lane, the Ashe as the AD carry. Not too upset, I suppose, by giving away the Aphelios. What is the thought process here?
I think that there's this is a more unique approach to going to best of ones. We felt that Chiefs, they might be practicing and trying to scope out what we might draft, and they're assuming that we want to go for something like Misfortune or something like that. We're going to throw a curveball. I think the OPL teams are overly reliant on champions like Braum, and this is a draft that aims to punish that. But this is the first time where we're not going for what they call the Piano Music League of Legends, so the onus might be on us to kind of aggressively attack the game this time, and we want to show the rest of the OPL that we can play as an aggressive team too.
Now speak to me a little bit about the mentality of these team members. Obviously Raze once upon a time was a big member, a big part of Chiefs. Obviously he'll understand the gravity of the situation, but for the newer members, say for example Eminez, how does he come into this one realizing the significance?
I think that for them, some of these players, they might feel the stakes of it, but coming into this, the way they prep them is that this is just another game. We're here for the long. We are here for the long game. We're here to try to be the first OPL team to make it out of the playing stages for MSI. So as hype as the El Clasico is, we have our sights set on the bigger picture, and I think that that's what helps keep the players focused on the game at hand.
And towards this draft now, for the opponent's side that you're dealing with, the Nidalee was something that was a surprise to me, and it's going against Babip, who's a massive Nidalee player. Was there any surprise from your guys during the draft as to what Chiefs have put together?
They have a triple AP top side, so that was the thing that surprised me, not so much the Nidalee pick, because the Nidalee is something that when I was looking through the solo queue account, something that he has been spamming quite a bit. Yep. We target banned him 3 junglers in the first phase, so we got rid of a lot of those AD options, so I wouldn't be too surprised by the fact that he's gone for Nidalee. It's just the way that they're set up for triple AP that has me a little bit surprised.
And lastly, just while we're continuing along the train of draft, you banned 2 hook champions in the second ban phase. Was this to try and force them onto the Braum to really prove the point that you had in the plan coming in, that you wanted to punish that if they did go towards it?
So the serious answer is that Trash is one of the ways that you can break the Ashe Rumble laning phase, because it can be very oppressive, and Trash has got very good gank setup, and we just wanted to ban the Nautilus to force CK to show us what else the rest of his champ pool is, and he opted into the Braum, so I think that might be a statement as to the strength of the player.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us, gents, and I wish you the best of luck in this massive matchup, and we'll catch up with you afterwards. That was a thank you as the mic did cut out, just for everyone wondering. Was it a loud noise sporadically for no reason? Now, we're going to take stock of what happened at the earlier points of this game, because it's very important here, Skibby. Level 1 play from Legacy, they grouped as 5. They got the flash out of Katsuri. He has cleanse, but he can't cleanse damage. And that's why Babip, from immediately seeing the flash used at level 1, will do his red to bot side pathing if he can, and threaten the gank onto the flashless ADC. He's going to find Croc now instead, but he has the opportunity to be aggressive, to press forwards, and to make the onus on him, exactly like mentioned by Jensen just in that interview then, because they believe the onus is on them, and you're seeing exactly that come to fruition here at the very early stages of this one.
And take a quick stock check of the map here, Rusty. Every single lane is pushed in favor of Legacy. They are finding these matchups, they are finding those waves, they're pushing on in. And they are the ones dictating the pace of this game so early on into it, definitely from the very get-go as well. The fact that they're this far forward, just going underneath the tower, Babip threatening, saying, look, you're level 2, I will go for this. I have double buff. Flag and Drag is online. Let's deny from as much CS as possible, and obviously valuable XP too. Going for the fight underneath the turret, it would seem, as Isles gets overheated, or very near to it.
I don't know how aggressively they want to dive this one. Babip has to engage. He has to be the one to tank it, because then he can flash out after going forwards. CK the likely target.
They go for him, they collect him, they juggle the aggro. The TP's come in from both the junglers, sorry, actually both the mid laners. Emin is caught in a situation as TN gets amongst it. Multiple TPs coming out. It's 4 minutes into the game, and we're playing ARAM. They're jumping on in, looking for the kills underneath the tower. Babip finds a second. Level 3, and these members take only a couple of shots to fall on down. Isles is low.
Claire has no mana, so he contributes nothing to this as well. The turret aggro has reset. Raze tanks this. It's on.
It really is. Babip juggles it beautifully. He gets the Triumph proc. Emin's going to fall on down. He won't survive. But Isles picks up a double kill. It's only 4 minutes in and we've had 5 kills.
It's 4-1 in kills right now, and all of it's just from diving the crap out of bottom lane. Nidalee's top lane catching the farm. So that's the winner from the Chiefs in this respect. Going to be level 5, 31 CS, but you press tab, you look at your respective opponent, Babip, while he's only level 3, 202. So he's got much more money than you right now in a very comfortable position. So aggressive from Legacy, not reinventing how they wanted to play the game, doing exactly what their coach said. Being the aggressors, going forwards first, and they very clearly put their best foot forwards here. As each time that these dives happen, Raze is actually the one who starts off the tanking. Teleport comes in from Evidus. Now Topoon matches TN's teleport as well. And it's just chaos, just diving constantly. The turret is smacking their health, but they skirt around the edges of the turret range so expertly.
Yes.
And so classily that it just looks simple from them. Resetting this turret aggro is the most important thing, because it legitimately would have one-hit them if they didn't. And then once again, Raze, the person with the most health on the team, tanks 2 of the shots. If he tanked a third, he probably would have just died to Korea CK, and someone had to die there. That's the takeaway, and they just chose it to be Ebenes.
It was like ballet there, Rusty. A beautiful performance as they juggle the aggro when your health pools are that little. with such a commanding lead, already hitting that 10k mark, 6 minutes into this game. They're able to find pressure in the jungle. They're able to pick up the first Drake, a Cloud one at that. And they are basically showing us a new style of Legacy, one that we haven't seen in these very first few games in the first few weeks.
And M&S decides to steal the Nidalee ultimate of Sylas there and starts pouncing towards Croc, who flashed away. It looks quite funny to see M&S as Nidalee on the right of your screen in Spectator, but he's definitely still Sylas.
He's cosplaying right now.
Nevertheless, they get the flash from Croc. The one person who wasn't involved in the fight and had that advantage, 20 CS right now.
Yeah.
Flashes away, so he loses a bit of control. And that's a lot of control lost through the jungle, specifically as Raze runs the risk of being stunned, but he's okay.
The one to engage
Croc's
right now.
here.
They're buying time for Croc. There's no response here from Legacy. Arls is going to be stunned on now. They want to try and take him down for that shutdown. He's going to flash in to try and get the kill. He might get onto Katsuri, who's so damn low. Guardian procs at the very last second. Heal Summoner wasn't even online. Isles must be beating himself over that one.
That was actually, so it was the Guardian proc and the cleanse on the Ignite, with two big things taken away from him in that situation. May have still been the trade if the cleanse wasn't there to get rid of the Ignite damage. Very well done here from Katsura to survive, but how close that was from Isles. Sorkshoes rushed, has an Amp Tome as well. And this is one of those things with Support Rumble that goes against the grain of the traditional support mantra. He just builds damage, because that's what Rumble excels at. You know, he's a champion who innately wants levels for strength, you know, hit those ultimate spikes, level 11, level 16. But in this case, you just go for the flat penetration with the magic Sorkshoes, and if you can, you know, you get the Leandries, and just rock people with the base damage from it hitting multiple times, instead of being a support. Just another carry.
You're now starting to see the fruits of that labor, however, in that bottom side. Look at the difference. Raze, double the CS, 70 to only 30. 4 assists to his name as well. Definitely going to propel this Ashe very far forward into the mid-game.
And you know, one of the things that makes Rumble really good as a support is the changes to the support items. The fact that now you can go for the Relic Shield, get AP, get HP, and get health regeneration instead of mana regen means that you can be an AP dealer as Croc.
Oh, he's in a situation right now. He needs to buy time. He does actually get the shutdown, and he may disengage too. He gets the heal. He denies it as Jeeves fine too so far. This is looking really good for them. But TN will fall down, and who else? Who else but Raze gets himself on the score sheet. 2-for-1 trade. Rift Herald still online. They are dancing around this one. Now turning their sights on Claire as M&S juggles with his health bar down to a third.
Claire just trying to run. He's going to do his best to trade if he can. He's definitely caught in the wrong side of the map, so just going to die.
Ooh.
Really close to getting M&S, however. As the thing worth noting is that Croc is still very far ahead of Babip. It's 5 to 7 in levels, and that really was the difference there. He gets out, he gets the kill. Like a thief in the night, he stays strong.
Plenty of action in this one. If you thought it was going to be slow, methodical, side lane pressure and macro, boy, were you wrong.
And the smite was used by Croc there. Ignite, Electrocute actually procced from just auto attacks. Doesn't even get the passive there for the bonus damage from a spear connecting or a trap. And Croc survives, and unfortunately for him, Tian has to sacrifice himself to make sure that Nidalee stays alive. We're back.
We're back again. We're fighting once more. We're looking for Croc, now taken down. This will give Babip a bit of time to catch up in that CS department and try and even the playing field for that jungle role. But Emenez, you know what he does when he gets that Dark Seal online. Response is obviously Claire having the same. 4 stacks to his name so far. Definitely wants to try and run that game in his favor. If we look at the stats from the games they've played so far, this is the crazy thing. M&S has done 36% of the team's overall damage. We talk about hype, the guy is justifiably so.
Yeah, even Carbon on the couch just before mentioned it. He's been living up to that hype very much so for the past couple of weeks. Definitely a play to continue to keep your eye on as, you know, 4 weeks in. Definitely living up to what could be the Rookie of the Split award. But does find himself dying in that. Croc also, most importantly, finds himself dying. Difference between Babip being level 5 and 6 is clearly very significant.
Croc, the single member with a gold lead for the Chiefs right now.
Yeah.
They're going to rotate themselves through, trying to establish some vision control, which, as you can see, is working in their favor. The shrubs are controlled, the traps are down, Drake spawning in 5, Rusty.
And it's not just a gold lead for Croc, it's a level lead, 8 to 6. If they have a smite battle, massive advantage,
Yes.
right? Hits a single spear onto Isles, who's just ticked over to 6 himself. I think they can test this now because Rumble has Equalizer.
Out comes the teleport. They're looking to engage this one. It's not going to be contested, but it's going to be a flag and drag into an Ashol, into a Rumble. Lay down the red carpet, but out comes the Ornn. He says hello and he turns this fight on its head. 2 for 1 so far. Legacy are looking for kills, but Chiefs will respond. Katsuri amongst it. Out comes the Cataclysm. And Babbitt will finally find it. Everybody in the pit. It's a dance party. 2 for 3. Who has the big moves?
And the tanks are just going to disengage here. They can't kill anyone else. That was chaotic. Honestly, you could see it coming. You could see Legacy were looking for the fight. It was M&S coming in. Topoon doesn't get there early enough. It seems to contribute the rest of the fight. It felt like, and we'll see it in the replay, M&S was left to his own devices, stuck in the back of the pit. As Babbitt cancels the ult, Equalizer comes in. Very well timed here on the engage, and Claire's just left to die with everything that hit him. And now Babbitt's gone. Topoon's only just gotten here, and by the time he gets here, it's too late for M&S. If he was there at the start of the fight, things could be very different for the side of Legacy. But nevertheless, they get some kills. They still trade for the Chiefs. Very happy with the outcome of that, considering how it started.
That deep vision ward allowing Tien to come in there with the beautifully set up ultimate. For me, really set up and spelt disaster there for the response coming out of Legacy. And now going to find themselves a chance to respond, reassert their dominance with that vision control now in the top side, looking at their very first Heralds.
Yeah, there's no... Actually, they still have the Rumble ultimate. It's back and available if they were going to look at another objective. You have to keep your eyes on Topoon and Babbitt, who haven't been close to the area at all. So they're not going to be able to contest in time. Though I suspect if they were on the map, they might have looked.
No Cataclysm, no World Ender. Big ultimates to try and force those members in place. You can see the idea behind it, right? Lock a member in place in a very strong chokehold. Lay down the red carpet and look to try and stabilize and respond in good fashion what this Ornn is able to initiate.
Neither team would have had ultimates really there. Ryze, Aphelios didn't have his either. Braum still doesn't, and Ornn doesn't. So if they were going to look for a trade, I think Rumble having Equalizer against the mismatch ults of their opponents, they might have just taken the base damage fight. Raze would feel so much more comfortable if the fight was going to break out and no one could get close to him with those ultis. So
Topoon is on his own right now, freely pushing out bot side. You can see Chiefs posturing up, looking for a catch, looking to say, let's make this a 4v5. Then we can utilize their Rift Herald, find some structures, find some ability to work on. Turret plating falling in 30 seconds now. Topoon going to find that final plate. Find some gold.
Yeah, Herald summoned mid though at the same time. Croc places that one down. I think it was about to expire, but regardless, the timing is correct to get that last little bit of the platage out. Take what you can. M&S now has the Ornn ulti, but he's against the Braum, so it's not the best ultimate to have. If Courier CK is vigilant, prepared to prevent that one.
Croc is massive right now. He's 2 levels up. The Ashult goes out, but that will not connect. I was going to look to try and hit him with a harpoon to slow things down, but they realize that the situation is out of hand. But I want to return to that point. Yeah, 2 levels up in the smite difference. 40, soon to be 50 CS difference as well.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at a situation for a 1v1, actually a 2v1, because I can't tell what numbers are, but we're going to look and see if Topoon can try and spin it on its head. He got exhausted to start things off with the World Enders proc. The flash is used. He is not safe under that tower.
And there's actually just proof in that skirmish right there that Croc is a master of the Nidalee, because he plays around the Ornn stun passes from the Brittle auto attacks to hit every single spear that he throws to get that passive proc for the bonus damage when he turns into Cougar form. So brilliant stuff there from Croc. Well timed around Tien's combos. They get themselves the kill on the Topoon. Not to mention the exhaust was there from Tien at the start thanks to the Unsealed Spellbook. However, the trade does still happen on the other side of the map.
Both teams pick up a turret for their efforts. Legacy still in the gold lead. It was a little bit stronger before, but it's starting to come back closer. 1k in their favor so far for Legacy.
Everything you'd want from a game between our two 6-0 teams, Skimmy, is starting to be delivered to us in this one. We've got some crazy picks, some early strategies, heavy kill-focused game. Fights around these objectives.
You do start to get a little bit anxious, though, with that jungle difference as it stands. If we are going to get to a situation where Baron steals and whatnot are going to come online, we've seen Babbitt do it before.
They saw Claire walk down here, so he walked over control, so they're very much aware that something's up. They were going to look, but they can also see Topoon here. So Claire's very aptly going to back away. The controller that he walked over was also just replaced by that member of Legacy who it belonged to. So he may not even find that controller, just be confused as to how they know.
4-1 split has been presumed right now. Infernal Drake is online. It's an Infernal Rift. So once again, we are amplifying damage. That's going to be the name of the game for this one. Who can come in and make the flashy plays?
No teleport for anybody in this game. So they are just going to group up.
3-level jungle difference right now. Absolutely massive when it comes to that department. Both teams looking to find a kill. Flashes out of the route right now. Flag and drag onto Chris CK. Trying to evaporate him from the map right now. Orm goes out. Aphelios follows up. Tapoon deleted. That's going to be a good start for Chiefs right now. Can Legacy respond? They find a one-trade response.
Look at Raze.
But Chiefs are finding it better. Raze doing whatever he can with his enchanted arrows, but he's just unable to survive long enough to make it count. Katsuri, the AD god, gets the double kill. Lives to tell the tale. And now they can definitely collect this Infernal Drake.
Left completely untouched is Katsuri in that fight. A lot of hard forcing, a lot of mobility used to get forwards on Claire to lock him down. And they were committed to the fight. And unfortunately, that commitment was just a little bit too high. Legacy, however, they've got Isle still alive, though he has no HP. He has a top laner teleporting in. He has a mid laner teleporting in as well. And they continue to hunt.
Teleports in deep there, does Eminez. Now we'll buy them time. This will reset the Drake. That'll buy time for Bebbit to respond. Coming from the base right now, walking out that structure.
And a reset for the 70 millionth time. Dragon doesn't know what it wants to do. Isles is almost dying to the AoE procs of that Drake as well. But they will get it in the end. Babbitt will be here. And Croc very clearly conceding, of course, being on the other side of the map, grabbing himself a blue buff and a Grom. Now he's going to go to invade the enemy top side because right now the Chiefs are going to play for the top lane outer turret while Legacy play towards bot side. We see this fight again. M&S engaging, going forwards, not hitting the chains, but still winning the trade. Topoon at the same time going to be there to force the flash out of Claire. And here goes Legacy very far forwards. But watch the Aphelios from the moment that he can start hitting, because they layer ultimates to stop him. But he's still able to get damage down thanks to the turrets that he's placing. Constantly. This is just like, it's one of those things where you watch the VOD back, you're like, Legacy did everything they could to stop Katsura from getting there. They put an equalizer down. They hit him in the face with an Ash Arrow. How is he still killing us? Because of Philios. That's why.
For Katsura, it's the dream fight. Champion he's incredibly comfortable on, but hold that thought, because another fight might just take place right now. Arrow whiffs. Chiefs respond. Babip so incredibly low. He's just going to be picked up for free. It's a casualty by Katsuri, who opens up with that Moonlight Vigil. Gets the root now, looking for Isles, looking for the flash, looking for the dash. Doesn't connect. Raises low, does not have flash, and he does not have mobility in that kit.
Yeah.
He will fall on down. 2 casualties. Chiefs now can re-establish themselves as a threat in the mid lane.
And it's starting to feel like Legacy are getting caught going a little bit too fast in this game. Now seeing opportunities, seizing those opportunities the second they can. Maybe coming back to haunt them a little bit here as Isles is just cooked. Slow point play-by-play that was. Gibby's dead to rights on the wrong side of the map. And now Chiefs will be able to get themselves a Rift Herald. 19 minutes and 35 seconds in the game. They're against the clock if they want to get this one in time. They should be okay though. Croc's almost in. So they'll get the objective. They'll get to break turrets with it. Chiefs now in the driver's seat.
Chiefs really are in the driving seat. They just established mid lane tier 1. Picking up the Rift Herald, and they are now going to be the ones picking up that gold lead. It swung, ebb and flow, if you will. Back and forth we go. The equilibrium now having stabilized in Chiefs' favor, who, for the majority of these last few fights, really have showcased that they are the ones commanding it. You can see a lot of it is Legacy trying to force the fight, trying to find the moments. And Chiefs quite happy to sit back. I've been very impressed with Tien and his ability to use this on just to create so much space and chaos. And Legacy haven't had their answer just yet.
Yeah, and Legacy are the ones who, again, like mentioned before, need to be the aggressors. So this is where it starts to feel a little bit bad for them, as a couple of the attempts have been undone. Particularly that last one in mid is the one that'll leave a sour taste for them. Diving the Braum, who had the stone plate. Perhaps they hadn't checked the item completions. Perhaps it was just an over of force and, lapse of judgment. because they lose that, not only do they lose the kills, they lose a big gold advantage they could have had, or at least the equalizing of the gold the Chiefs are able to get back, and then they lose the Herald, and then they lose control of the map. And that cascade as Ornn going forwards once raised.
TN wants to start things off with the equalizer lands on Declare. They have split fights right now towards the Baron Pit and towards mid. 2 members on Declare. This will be huge if they can take him down, but now the members are split away. They need to try and re-establish something as Eminence turns around with his own horn. Stuck underneath their tower because Tier 1 remains. Legacy unable to follow that up anymore.
And we're just getting a battle on 2 fronts. It's a hard life being raised right now with all the kill threat running at his face. But then you've got Topoon and MNS just bullying Claire at the moment. And that will bleed over into Katsuri's health bar sooner or later as the flash.
Oh, that's the flash and the disengage out. They look to try and lock members in place. Katsuri stuck in a rock and a hard place, but he will be able to survive. No one falls down. And Babip, boy oh boy, incredibly lucky to survive that exchange.
It just flashes in, uses the Cataclysm, and then flag drags his way out to safety. I mean, that's aggressive, and once again, this mid lane outer turret is causing a whole host of trouble for Legacy. Because they keep forcing under it, they keep being bested in that exact position.
Croc is steamrolling this game on his own. We mentioned about the influence that Croc could bring to this team, the last member to the Chiefs lineup. Still, 3 levels up on his counterpart.
I mean,
so much CS ahead. He's just doing so much work, Rusty.
That's not just CS, that's minions in the jungler.
Oh, absolutely.
CS, which is worth more gold. Like, he is so far ahead as Katsuri's been ulted, does cleanse for the last second. Croc is insane in this game in terms of how far ahead he is.
He's taken a jungle by storm. It is his kingdom. And he is dictating when these objectives are taken, when they go for these fights, when they look to make something happen. 15 kills to 13. It is a bloodbath on that front. 22 minutes into this one here, Rusty. There is plenty of action going on. But it is that light moment of break where we wait to see who has established himself with the best vision control, the best positioning to posture for this next Drake.
The Chiefs have got control. They've also summoned the Herald in mid lane, of course, about to be expired again to get some extra control. Someone has to answer that or it'll chunk the turret out. At least force mid-pro is still in favor of the Chiefs. So they are going to start the Dragon after that Herald is summoned. Raze, no ultimate on the Ashe. It comes down to Isles starting this one off if they can, but the Orb goes first.
Tapoon's not just there yet. Tien not going to find the value with that ultimate like he would have liked last time. The red carpet onto the ramp. That is big. Does allow them actually to take away the Drake when you thought they shouldn't have. Claire so low, forced to burn the Seraphs. No member falls on down, but quite honestly, Legacy, they would donate to the Dragon.
And that's the power of that Rumble, right? He is only level 10, so not 2 points in the ultimate, but has a Leandri's Torment. The damage that he does is seriously high, especially when you layer yourselves on the entrance to objectives. It's the perfect position for Legacy to take the fight, even without that Ashe ultimate. Just from the equalizer, the Chiefs back away, and they get the 3rd Drake of the game. They get Soul Point, and with the Infernal Soul Point at that, I mean, Legacy, you take that, that's a big win.
Definitely a big style change for a lot of these members, you can tell. Even if they admit that they're under no pressure, there are restraints, there's discipline. We're not seeing Eminence go for the 1v4 craziness to look to try and carry on his own ability. We're not seeing anything along those lines. We're seeing Katsuri feel rather protected and able to emit the pressure from so far away. Once again, most comfortable champion of his. He has the highest KDA in the league. This guy sitting at 22.7. To put that into tangible numbers, 22 kills. He's only died 3 times across all 3 weeks. So this is a big deal. Basically, he's died nearly as much in this game across all the weeks he played so far. The guy is a monster.
Definitely right. 25 minutes into this one as well. Baron, the only place they'll be looking at right now. Skimmy, thank you for filling for me. I think that with the one objective on the map, once again, we have to look towards the ultimates and the big cooldowns on the R-button team composition of a lot of members of Legacy. With all of them up, Isles ticking over to level 11. I think that they will be, once again, trying to utilize their composition to be the aggressors, to go forwards, to use it at the Baron pit. So now we have to watch the vision game, the dance for wards as they happen. And with the scuttle just expiring, Chiefs now feel that need to get some extra wards down.
Both supports only have one ward left in their inventory, so we may see a force recall come out to re-establish that, to start things up fresh again. Legacy have no vision on towards that Baron right now. They are heavily involved towards that bottom side of the map. They are heavily involved towards dictating where this next Drake may start things off, if they can find a catch on the rotate to try and catch that side lane pressure. 2 minutes and 30 for the Soul Point decider.
And you could wait, actually, if you were Legacy, right? Make it a rock and a hard place. Where do Chiefs go? The one thing that, above all else, is the most important aspect in this game is that mid priority right now. Especially as we get closer and closer to the Soul Point Drake. M&S just used an Ornn ultimate bottom, which is why I looked very confused for a second. But he's cleared the wave out. Level 15 in mid lane to level 13. Now that's cool, but look at the jungle experience difference. I often see a 3-level difference. I very rarely see 4. This is absurd. Croc is just...
It's unheard of.
Unfairly far ahead as Tien's just getting clobbered.
He really is. M&S is going for that 1v1. He looks to try and take him out of this fight. Flashed away. The tower dropping him so low. He bit off more than he could chew. Chiefs say, that's enough for us. We'll go for Baron. Where is Babip? He is nowhere near. Equalizer comes out, but the disengage from Chiefs is already so fantastic. Tapoon locked in the zone. The teleport's coming on in. Moonlight Vigil going to whiff. Baron is there for Chiefs right now. Remember, no Ornn Horn, no engage in that potential
really
flash out to try and find things around. M&S turning it on his head. He needs to find some value with this one to try and get some kills. Deny the Baron buff. Cataclysm onto 2. Double kills for both sides so far. Chris CK getting out with his life right now. Croc on his own.
Dead.
He's taking on Isles. M&S trying to run away with the show with the support of their team.
Oh, that's just absolute madness that comes out here. Legacy almost clean the Chiefs out. Croc, the only one left alive.
And that's the member you want.
And not only is that like an important member, they don't get the 600 gold shutdown, but they lose 4 Baron buffs. And now Croc's stuck grouping with his team if they want to utilize that Baron at all. They could have disengaged. Chiefs could have chosen to back away, but they look to go aggressively. They look to go forwards. Katsuri has like 7 bazillion chakrams right now that he could be throwing out. Ultimate misses. That's a lot of damage that goes missing. Teleports come in. M&S just dashes away. They could disengage. We don't get to watch. We're going to watch teleports come in because it never stops. That's M&S looking at Croc. Topoon comes in. I think that Legacy will just disengage this time.
It's looking like a repeat of that level 3 dive we saw at the start of this one here, Rusty. Members show face, and you can tell why. The Drake is spawning. Legacy on Soul Point. Chiefs hungry to deny that. I don't think they want to leave it to chance.
Oh, they're just forcing straight away.
I don't think they want to wait for this one to go to Elder. They're going to pick up the Soul Point. Infernal in their arsenal. That's a Luden's Echo popping off where they see fit. Equalizer disengage. And they have the discipline to make sure we're not going to make the same mistake you guys did. Gold will even out.
Yeah, they get themselves a Soul Point. Now, it's really important to take stock of certain things in this game. 1, the top side of Chiefs is all magic damage. Even though Croc is so far ahead as he is, you can just build a Spirit Visage and Merc Treads and be a tank if you're Topoon. So Topoon's actually a monster influence in this game just because of the ease of item build access for him. His one threat is Katsuri. Katsuri has been constantly zoned by Equalizers and Ash Arrows to make it harder for him. So really they're playing the game out as best they can because they've been given this really easy win condition of build magic resistance. Be happy about it. So that's been working out brilliantly. Once again, Topoon cementing himself as, I would say, just the best top laner in the league right now. Playing out of his mind this split. Has been playing very well in this game.
Even on kills, even on structures. Only tier 2 turrets now do remain. The first Ornn upgrade going towards Tien. And we're gonna, towards Katsuri to upgrade that Infinity Edge. Have to see how influential that does become here with Ornn as those ornaments come online. I feel like it should, for the most part here, be a bit of a deciding factor for the strength to try and even out the amount of Infernal Soul Points that Legacy do have up their sleeve.
Raze, even though he's 1-4, 60 CS lead over Katsuri. Top lane's got a 40 CS lead, mid lane's got a 40 CS lead. Legacy playing very well individually to get themselves these advantages. A lot of the mistakes aren't from the individual play, it's from the team decisions when they're diving places they shouldn't be, or just doing things at the wrong moment. M&S, speaking of at the wrong moment.
He's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He needs to disengage. The team are on the hunt. He has to buy time for the engage. He does a fair chunk of damage to Croc, bear in mind, who doesn't have a GA. Does have Azonius, however, and that's going to be a Philios with the Moonlight Vigil to lock 2 people in place. Babip comes in, he goes golden, he dodges out Ray's ult. Ray's
still
now
doing damage,
firing from afar. We talk about the team fight king, he's poking. The Chiefs will disengage here. If that ult had landed, if that arrow had connected, we may have seen Cats go extinct.
Yeah, Raze does a lot of damage. Infernal Soul actually adds up to quite a significant amount, even for insignificant players like Babip right now. He's able to get some damage down.
Spear.
Threatening the bot lane in a turret is not the real goal. They're looking for Croc.
4v5, that's what they want. Tapoon does fall. Croc is unstoppable, but Babip does get the shutdown. Very much needed for him to catch up in this game.
Again, there's so much fighting happening in this game. We have 19 kills versus 18 kills, 31 minutes in there, ahead of the clock with the total kill amount. I think players are getting swept up in that ideology that we're just playing a fast and aggressive game. And the first team to really slow it down are the ones who start to find themselves with advantages. Chiefs, they choose to overforce near the Baron. Legacy are the ones that win it. Legacy did that twice in mid lane when the Chiefs come out on top. Did Croc need to be where he was, taking that fight? Probably not. Was Croc there taking that fight? Absolutely. Did M&S need to be bot lane clearing that wave when his team was second to be a rotation? No, but he was. And I think that a lot of players are getting swept up in the pace of this game, and it's very easy to make mistakes in this type of environment. I think that's the real difference maker that we're going to start to see here.
We're getting very close, Rusty, to breaking the record for the most kills in the OPL so far. 41 kills when Legacy took on Order. That game became 40 minutes.
Oh, I mean, we'll break that now.
It's definitely a bloodbath that will showcase more and more wipes, more and more aces.
We'll get at least one more team fight, so we'll break that for sure. We're at what, 37 now?
Stat leaders on all fronts, KDAs, multi-kills, farming, Team GPM. We're talking the leaders on all fronts. Both of these teams are 6-0. You can tell that the tension for these decisions
Baron is
are
up.
palpable.
Elder Dragon in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Chiefs with the inside track to the Baron itself. They've got the control wards in the pit. M&S is the one who's putting his face in it. Orn throws the ult out. It's on.
CK jumps out. He flashes to Duke out that one. That's a lot of engage ultimates right now, burnt by the Chiefs. Now it's time for M&S to showcase what he can do with this Legacy lineup. He jumps into TN, instantly deleted. Claire gets locked in place. He survives. The GA, no, the Ignite does get him. Babip forced to get that kill. Multiple members low, but Nidalee is just so damn far ahead. Can take a beating, go golden, and claim first place trophy.
They can just push mid lane. Raze has no matter. He's
they
just going to die.
They want the executions. They want that 5-man
That could
ace.
be game. That could be very close to game over. There's 30 seconds on the first respawn, and Croc has a Lich Bane. I think the Chiefs have just won.
Respawn timers are at 22 seconds at the lowest right now. Mid turret will fall. Inhibitor to swiftly follow right now.
15 seconds on M&S. 15 seconds on Isles. CK is going to tank the turret to kick this off. They want to end it. I think they've got it.
I think they do indeed. They have the damage, they have the structures, they have the ability to win this game. The O's Classico will be blue as Chiefs go 7-0.
And once again, you could see the engages, the forces. Whoever went first seems to be the ones that lose. But it was the Chiefs that went first in the last fight. They are the ones who come out victorious. Croc was just nuts. He was a monster on that Nidalee. Massive advantage from the start of the game to the very end. He's able to use that small lead to carry that through, get a 4-level lead. And a lot to look at for both of these teams. It was a chaotic game, and it definitely delivered a high-action game of League of Legends. But a little bit too much at times, I think, for a lot of these players, and they'll see that when they watch it back.
Well, I think it's everything we could have wanted from a match that we've highlighted and hyped up as much for the gratitude that it served. But in the end, there could only be one victor. Legacy forced to lick their wounds as they pick up their very first loss here for Chiefs. Well, Croc was the difference maker, able to find so many kills, able to just really transition. A 4-level jungle difference, unheard of in competitive play.
We do finally get some separation on the table here, as we have one undefeated team now in the OPL.
Chuck it back to the boys on the couch to break down What a fabulous match that was.
I love murder, and we got so much of that there. I mean, if you wanted a bloodbath for a game, as Skimmy said, that we've been hyping up, you got it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was one of those games where both teams were just like skill checking each other at every opportunity. And when you do that with good players, neither player wants to back down, right? So it's going to cause an absolute like truckload of fights. And I think like on one side, Eminez was like, I'm in a situation now with 3-item Silas that I feel confident to carry the game. Side laning Silas with Conqueror and 3 items is like nearly impossible. But I really think that people just aren't used to jungle being that strong. Like, people disregard junglers all the time. We're a lowly creature, Nick. We're kind of like the whipping boys of the scene. And then Croc just reminded everyone what a jungle gap looks like. And I'm a fan of Leo, but he just got smurfed on.
Yeah.
Real hard.
Big time. Claire, how are you feeling after that one?
I don't know how I feel, to be honest. Like, so many different emotions all at once. I guess I feel great after the win, yeah.
You've been on, just to talk about the legacy of the game, you've been on both sides of this coin. How are you feeling today now that, you know, the Chiefs versus Legacy rivalry is something where going into it, you weren't necessarily sure how it was going to turn out?
I think like the big thing to me was not like OPL Classico, like Chiefs vs Legacy. The big thing was the fact that we were both 6-0. The fact that we were both dominating the OPL. So for me, it's not really like about my roots with Chiefs and Legacy. It's more about these two teams in 2020.
It's not about the past, it's about now, and you are the undefeated team in the OPL. Congratulations. And
Thank
as
you.
Jake said, we'll talk about you. Croc's a freak.
Yeah, okay, so pretty much I feel like we griefed level 1 because I said like 4 times, Silas level 1 cheese, be careful. So bot lane got to a shitty situation. We kind of had to salvage it. We failed miserably at salvaging it. But the big thing is, the whole time we were like dancing around bot tower, our Nidalee was just killing jungle camps. Like just perma farming. She was level 6 when Jarvan was like level 4. And then we fought Rift Herald. He like 1v3'd because he was so strong. And then from there, it was just like follow Nidalee around, let her make plays. And for me, it was be kind of useless on stunted growth rise.
And just to bring the mood back a little bit, you guys have been sick all week.
Yes.
So obviously interrupted prac schedule. My understanding is internet goes out on Tuesday as well at the Chiefs Gaming House due to the thunderstorm. So, you know, limited prac there. It must feel pretty bloody good to come off a bout of a bit of a tummy bug, no internet, and then still be able to retain your undefeated status. Was there a little bit something extra there today?
It definitely feels really good to win, but I don't think I feel good that we won despite all our like setbacks. Like if we didn't have those setbacks, we would have won even harder, and that would have felt better. And I'm like thinking like, damn, like if we didn't get screwed by like power going out, like half our team being sick, like missing a bunch of scrim sets, like I think we missed like 3. So I was just thinking like, crap, if we had those like extra practice hours,
all that wasted
this
potential.
game is just so easy.
And I want to ask you about your coach, because I have talked about Seal a lot. I'm a big fan of Seal's work. You've played under Coach Lucio. You've also played under Volt. You've had Cupcake help you out. You've had Fantix help you out, I think, a couple of times. So you've played under like some of the best coaches in the OPL. How does Seal going, and how does he stack up?
He's definitely the most non-conventional coach I've worked with. He has like a lot of different methods that I haven't gone through with like a traditional head coach. His background is like a personal, like private coaching, like one-on-one. So he brings a lot of like those things that he's learned through that to the team. But the biggest thing that I noticed with him is that like he's Korean and we have 2 Korean players. So there's a lot of language barrier that's just not there because we can communicate with each other like pretty efficiently compared to other teams.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on top of the table of the OPL. As you said, that is the thing that's most important to you. That is the thing that is most important to the teams this year. Let's take a look at the results from today. Game 1, Gravitas and Order. Order taking out their first of 2 games today. Pentanet.gg versus Mammoth for Game 2. Pentanet.gg taking that. Direwolves taking down Order for Game 3. And then finally, Chiefs coming out on top over Legacy, still the only undefeated team in the OPL. So not only top of the table, but still undefeated, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, and OPL is triple round robin, and Chiefs have just done what very few teams are able to do. They've gone 7-0 through the entire first round robin. So they've beaten every single team. And I think they have still the quickest game time. I'd have to check after that one, but I'm pretty sure they were like 27 minutes. That's going to put them up to like 29. That's pretty quick.
And imagine what they could have done if they had power and they weren't sick. Let's take a look at the games for tomorrow. Bring them up, please. Tomorrow's schedule. Game 1, Legacy versus Avant. Chiefs taking on PGG for Game 2. Gravitas versus Avant for Game 3. And rounding out the eve and the weekend, Direwolves versus Mammoth.
What's game of the day there? Claire, which game are you looking forward to the most?
Honestly, they're all pretty, like the difference in ranking between all these games is quite a lot, like the two teams that play each other.
Didn't Gravitas beat Avant last time? Was that the not that bad game?
That was their not
maybe it was. Yeah, maybe that's the closest game, yeah.
All right.
Well, please, we hope that you will stick around for tomorrow, and we also hope that you'll be able to send in your anime entries for the anime credits competition. A reminder, create an original artwork in an anime style, submit it on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag OPL Anime for your chance to win a champion skin. It is the Blood Moon range of skins. If you don't have the champ for the skin that you select, you also get the champ, so that's a pretty good deal. We also want pictures of you. We have gotten a ton. There are some really fantastic ones, and there are a lot of ones that I can't unsee, but I'm really glad that you sent. We can't broadcast them, but I will be doing a lot of private paintings myself, so I've been enjoying those. Please, if you want to get painted, send in your picture before tomorrow's broadcast. We're going to pick a painting, and next week, Jules is going to join us to help paint it. It's going to be a fun time.
I think I'm picking up the Chiefs stomach bug for next Friday.
You reckon you'll be out?
I reckon I might be out.
That's a shame. Someone who isn't out, McDonald's, thank you very much for your support. A wonderful sponsor for a wonderful evening here of League of Legends. The official competition is over, but the unofficial competition continues with the MPL. A big thank you to Rusty, to Skimmy, to Spawn. Claire, thanks for rounding out the evening with us. We'll be back with the MPL shortly, and we'll be back with more OPL tomorrow.
Not going to be contested, but it's going to be a flag and drag into an Ashol, into a rumble, lay down the red carpet, but out comes the Ornn. He says hello and he turns this fight on its head. 2 for 1 so far. Legacy are looking for kills, but Chiefs will respond. Katsuri amongst it. Out comes the Cataclysm. Trying to evaporate him from the map right now. Ornn goes out. Aphelios follows up. Tapoon deleted. That's going to be a good start for Chiefs right now. Can Legacy respond? They find a one-trade response.
Look at Raze.
But Chiefs are finding it better. Raze doing whatever he can with his enchanted arrows, but he's just unable to survive long enough to make it count. Katsuri, the AD god. He needs to find some value with this one to try and get some kills. Deny the Baron buff. Cataclysm onto 2. Double kills for both sides so far. CK getting out of his life right now. Croc on his own.
Dead.
He's taking on Isles. He jumps into TN. Instantly deleted. Claire gets locked in place. He survives. The GA. No, the Ignite does get him. Babbitt forced to get that kill. Multiple members low, but Nidalee is just so damn far ahead. They have the damage, they have the structures, they have the ability to win this game. The Os Classico will be blue as Chiefs go 7-0.
Introducing Macca's Mini Games. Play today and win on the My Macca's app.
Woo! Winning!
Every play wins one of your Macca's faves.
強く輝いて消えた